What's good? What's good? I want to talk about something that I noticed, and it's gonna be an interesting video because one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people really aren't happy. And I'm not in this video. I'm not gonna be focusing on the people you guys may think I'm talking about, such as people who spend their whole day. Maybe they live with their parents and they play video games and they talk about like anti-natalism and fucking like they're goth or emo or whatever. I'm not talking about these people in this video. I'm speaking about people who are like, they say they're financial gurus. They say that they're somehow like they're independent financially, or they're on just certain, even people who talk about semen retention, just people in general. When I see these people, I'm not like, I don't see true happiness in them. And the reason, like when I say this, maybe it's because I've tapped into breatharianism and I talk to certain breatharianism people who are in it, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. But most of these people, they're not really truly happy. And like you'll see people like, there's this one nigga, his name is Anton Daniels. He's a so-called financial guru. He said he made millions. He says he works 16 hours a day, and he's like he talks to people about how to better their life and get their financial shit right. When you see this nigga's energy, he's always complaining. He's always in a, like, has that bitch face on him, like just like, oh, you guys need to do better. Our people do. It's always that negative energy. And when I look at these people, you guys may not see what I see, because once you tap into breatharianism, once you start talking to people who are actually breatharians, who are actually living off prana, you're able to see how most people in life truly haven't reached happiness, or at least the happiness that I'm trying to seek. And this is why I tell you, money does not bring happiness. All of these things that you think bring happiness, it doesn't bring you happiness. Because if you watch a lot of these individuals out here that are at the place you think brings you happy, such as financial success, such as but once you watch these people that bring you financial success and everything, you start to understand and you start to realize that these people really truly aren't happy. And I'm going to tell you how. A lot of people base, when somebody tells you that you can't always be happy, this is an individual who hasn't tapped into true prana lifestyle, true breatharianism. And when I say breatharianism, I'm not just talking about not eating. Breatharian goes beyond just not eating. Breatharian is living off prana. That's what breatharian is. So living off prana goes, not eating is one of the side effects of living off prana. Other side effects is having very high energy, always feeling like you're in a blissed out state, not allowing external things to get you upset. So it's like you're on a drug, but it's a natural high. This is where they get the saying high off life, because you're literally high off life. So anybody that tell you like, oh, you can't always be happy, you're not always, you have ups and downs. Ups and downs is, as in there's situations that happen to you that make you go up and down. It doesn't mean how you have to be affected emotionally by those situations. Obviously, in every human's life, we go through that stage of being happy, depressed, because people say, well, we're a human being, we're supposed to be depressed, we're supposed to be sad. Yes, you're right, but that's in the beginning stages before you reach the levels of prana. If you're trying to get onto this prana lifestyle, once you, to get on the prana lifestyle, you have to go through depression, happiness, and all these ups and downs. But once you reach the lifestyle, then you're able to tap into a state of being where you're able to, this is what they call breatharian consciousness, where things don't affect you. You have peace within yourself, and it goes beyond just having money or just being on semen retention or just doing whatever the fuck people say that is supposed to bring you happiness. Because when you look at these people who are financially so-called secure, or they may have security, because I'm not saying that I'm there, but what I am telling you guys, that I've tapped into it. And therefore, I'm able to talk to you guys like this, where other people can't talk to you like this, because I can see things in people that other people can't see, because I've tapped into this state of being, and where it feels timeless. You feel at peace with everything. When things happen to you, you don't give a fuck about it, because you're able to look at it as in it doesn't really matter. It's a hard to explain. I can't get it. You guys have to be there to experience it. But the best way I could put it is everything feels timeless and it feels like you're in a flow state. So time speeds up. You can't even tell the time. You can't even really remember what happened yesterday because you're so much in the present. So a lot of people haven't tapped into this state of being, and how you tap into this state of being is living the pranic lifestyle and raising your pranic energy. And one of the symptoms of that is not eating. This is why I say breatharianism isn't just about not eating. It's a symptom of many symptoms. So when you go on this breatharian path, not eating is actually a symptom. They push not eating as it is something to reach and to obtain, and that's the only thing, because it's so many people are so lost into that desire. So it's like, okay, breatharianism, and then they just leave it at not eating. But it actually goes beyond that. Not needing to sleep as much, having an awareness, being able to feel peace and that bliss even in times of sorrow, because you're able to understand. It's many fucking things. So you guys got to understand that. So by me tapping into this, I tapped into it a couple years back in 2020 was on my 43-day fast, and back in 2018, I remember after I went to the chiropractor, I tapped into it, and it was like a short state of being. Like it was like about a couple days I was in it, and at that point, it's like I didn't really care about nothing. And when you don't care about that whole during that period, I remember like I was like things were just happening to me. You know how you guys wonder like why do things happen? Why can't you guys live the life you want to live? It's because you're not in the right mind state. So when you're not in that right mind state, you're so focused on the external and the physical and it going right and it not going wrong that you actually fuck it up. Because once you get into that breatharian consciousness, you're at peace so much that things flow into your life because you're not worried about it. Like I remember I was doing my check fraud. I don't like to give examples like this, but I have to give it to you because it makes sense. I was doing my check fraud back in 2015, and every time when I'll write a check, I remember it will always not work because you have to get the business numbers. You have to print the business numbers on the check. You have to type it into the app. And then on the app, you create a check. And then you put fake check paper into the printer. And it will print out the check with the business numbers and the company's name. And you can make it look like a real check. But every time I did this, something always will go wrong. Like the person who because I would get people off Instagram or Facebook. And either the person, they'll say, I'll be like, I'll deposit this into your account and give me half the money. Sometimes they won't give me the money, or if they were going to give me the money, something will fuck up and the bank will catch on. And every time it will fuck up. And the times when it will fuck up is when I put so much of my mental energy into it. But I remember one time I was like, fuck this stupid shit. And I make the check, and on the check, when you have to sign it like a signature, I put fuck Region, because that was the name of the bank. It was called Regions Bank. I was like, fuck Regions. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. It was like a $3,000 check I deposited. I just went to sleep that night. Usually I'd be staying up all night to make sure the check exactly right when the check comes. I just went to sleep that night. I woke up. I remember the guy's like, hey, the money came in. And I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, oh, for real? And then that was it. And then he was like, what's your information so I can send you the money? So I have to give him the fake identification I have so I can pick it up as Western Union. Everything went smooth. So from that point on, I was like, let me do it. Let me not give a fuck about it. And that's when it started flowing for me. And like, I'm not saying like that's a good thing to do. And obviously I had to stop doing it because shit obviously didn't go. It wasn't right what I was doing. So I had to stop doing it. But that's an example. Like once I even wrote on the check, fuck Regions Bank. And they still cleared it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, other times I did it all perfect and I made it look nice, and it will always be a problem. It's because you got to be in a certain mindset. But the breatharian path that goes beyond just being in a certain mindset. Breatharian path goes beyond that, because even when things don't work out, you're supposed to be happy. And that's what this video is about. Because I'll see a lot of people, even when things work out in their life, and they're like, I see a lot of these financial gurus who make money, who accomplish so much, but they always look stressed. They always look depressed. They always look like they don't have the happiness that I'm seeking in life. And then they will have you believe that life is not supposed to be about being happy all the time. Anybody that tells you life isn't not supposed to be about happy is a fucking idiot. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they haven't asked them, are they a breatharian? Have they tapped into chronic lifestyle? Because every person that I talk to that taps into chronic lifestyle and that's a breatharian, because I talk to these people on Instagram, I email some of them because they're trying to help. I ask them for help and tips and what they should do. And these people are always in a state of just happiness. They don't give a fuck about shit. Like they're just always smiling, and people will make fun of them and be like, "Oh, look at them. They're always in this love and light energy." And I used to make fun of these people who are like loving. Don't get me wrong. Some people who are love and light, they're just bullshitting and they're fake, and they just need a reality check. But then there's some people who are into the chronic lifestyle who a lot of people will hate on them, be like, "Oh, they're always love and light. Why are they so happy?" And very few percentage of these people are actually fucking happy because they tapped into the pranic energy, which makes them not really give a fuck. So therefore, they're able to manifest more. And when you're in that state of pranic living where you don't give a fuck, you don't care about manifesting. The only thing you care about is having perfect health and all your energy channels unblocked. Every breatharian I talk to, or somebody who's into liquidarian on the way to breatharian, they tell me the only thing they want in life is to have their energy channels unblocked. The only mission that is in their life is to have their energy channel unblocked. And from that comes everything else. If you're a weak ass spirit, then you may need to have other things that keep you happy to make you to get you to say that that's your mission. You may say, "Oh, I need money to make it. That's my mission. My mission is to do this. My mission." You may have that, but a person who's really on the, I don't want to say a strong spirit, but I'm just going to say somebody who's on a breatharian path, their only mission is to keep their energy channels unblocked. And from that, everything else comes. Like for me, my biggest issue was my energy channels being blocked. And from a result of that, I wasn't able to access who I am. This is why the more I unblock my energy channels, I have my knowledge increases, my awareness increases, my knowingness, that I just come up with ideas on how to get, like, I don't really, like a lot of other people, they have to study, they have to read, they have to go through experience. Me, not so much. I'm not saying I don't, but not so much. I just have to unlock my energy channels, and I end up getting that aha moment. Like, aha, I get it. Like the idea, like the things just come to me because I already have the power. And I'm not just speaking for me. Some of you, a lot of you guys who gravitate to my channel, you guys have this too. You already have the knowledge and the power and the energy. A lot of you guys watch these people on YouTube and you think they're somehow smarter than you or better than you, or they have more knowledge than you, where majority of these people ain't shit. You're actually more intelligent than them. The reason why you can't express it is because you have a lot of power, and the spirit may have suppressed that power within you. It suppressed it because based upon your ego right now, you don't know how to express that power. You may abuse it for negativity. Like I could tell, like when I was doing certain things I wasn't supposed to be doing, I could tell the spirit kind of restricted my energy because I was in my ego and I was using my energy to manifest and do things negatively or manipulate people. So it will restrict you by make you have extreme anxiety. And when I say extreme anxiety, I'm not just talking about everybody with anxiety has this, because most people with anxiety are just, that's not what it is. It goes beyond that. When you have a certain severe anxiety, your nervous system is constricted to the point where you can't be who you want to be. This is why you may like this is why I say nobody is truly lazy. Nobody is truly insecure. People just have restrictions on their nervous system. And sometimes the spirit does this because of karma. So this is where you may see somebody in high school, they're a nerd and they get picked on and they can't speak up. Most of the time, those are people who they have a blockage and the spirit is making them go through karma. So that their nervous system is constricted, so they can't speak up. Because if it was easier just speaking up and just speak up or just stop being depressed, then they could just stop doing it. There'll be no people you see. But why do people struggle with this for years and years? It's because it's something to do with the nervous system. See, a lot of people, they're not talking about this shit. They'll just tell you, oh, if you want to get over social anxiety, you have to keep talking to people. That may work for certain people, but for the vast majority of people, that does not fucking work. Because if it did, you wouldn't see so many people struggling with it on the internet. A lot of people have a restricted nervous system due to karma, due to them not doing, it could be from karma, and also you not doing what's necessary to release that blockage. This is why I tell you, you want to make the most important thing in your life removing the blockages from your energy channels, because that's your problem. Money isn't your problem. All these stupid narcissistic people that you say you hate are fucking bots, agents, or anything that you could think of. That's not your problem. Your problem is your blockages are restricted. Therefore, you're in a certain mindset, and then you'll manifest people, places, and things that confirm who you are within. Look at your reality as your nervous system. If you have a fucked up nervous system, you have a fucked up reality. You have to release the blockages and release the energy. I'm not saying once you get the restrictions out, you're not going to go through problems, but they're going to be different type of problems. Just like they say, more money, more problems. When you got money problems, it's different than when you got broke problems. But there's still a problem. It's just a different type of problem. So once you release the restrictions, you're gonna be able to tell that your reality is different, and every problem you have is gonna be a different type of problem, and you're gonna be able to. I'm not gonna say maybe easy, but it's not gonna affect you. It's gonna affect you externally, more emotionally. So therefore, let's just say you got your energy channels unblocked. Your car breaks down. That's an external problem, but internally, you don't give a shit. You're able to be like, whatever, and then keep going. And then by the time you know it, your car ends up getting fixed. Somebody actually, they help you to fix it, or you end up getting a new one, or just something happens because internally you're right. So externally, you're still going to have problems, but internally you straight. So when you're on this pranic path and you're bringing in, you're not only unblocking your energy channels, because each of us can unblock it, but when you start bringing this prana and this flow in it, then it amplifies it, where you're starting to actually, every day is like, when you're like a kid and you're able to go and run on the swings, and you just jump. I look at a kid, like he'll be walking with the parent and he'll jump on the fucking cement on the sidewalk and start running around. I'm like, why don't adults do stuff like that? And I'm not saying we got to go act like kids, but you guys know what I'm saying? Why don't adults have that same energy? It's because they don't have that prana, that chi. It's not flowing through. Because when you have that prana and chi, you get that energy where I'm not going to say, because as an adult, you're going to express it differently than a kid, but you're more amplified to want to go and live life. Whereas you may see somebody who has $1 million and who they got a lot of material things. Even though they may be content and they may say they're happy, they're still not at that happiness that you get when you're actually doing the energy work and bringing this prana in your body. Because when you're able to really do that, then the money doesn't bring you happy. It's like the money is just the icing on the cake. It's just it amplifies it. But you don't need that. You can just be dead broke and not have anything and just be at one. This is why you'll go to these Buddhist monks. They can just sit. I don't want to say Buddhist monk, but people who are like into like Buddhist monk type of energy. They don't need that much. Like they'll say, oh, I was able to sit down and meditate for like a day straight. And you're like, how the fuck do these people give up not doing certain activities that people do in the Matrix? And how do they live life? It's because they have a certain energy within them that's already flowing. So they feel blissed out just by sitting there and just staring into space. Like when I be going on my fast, like over 20 days, I could just sit there staring into space and just be like entertained from just my mind. And then not saying that other things don't entertain me. If I do other things, that just makes it even more. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't need those things to be entertained. Because you're allowing the prana to flow through you. And once I tapped into this state, and I would say I'm kind of in that state. I'm not fully there, but because once you become a breatharian and you do this energy work, there's a certain stage you get to where you can't go back. I'm at a stage where I can't go back. So I don't even feel the same way as I did 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Even though I'm not 100% there, there's certain things that I can't even feel. I can't even feel like no more, because once you tap into this energy, it's like it sticks with you. Just like when you wake up, you can't go back. When you wake up and you realize the knowledge and the spirituality, you can't go back to your old self. It's the same way with the prana. So once you build up a certain level of prana, it stays with you. So this is why I'm able to convey it, because I kind of I kind of feel that. And in a way, the negative of it is if you don't have a goal and a mission, you can get distracted. And just like when you're on social media and you're looking at your phone and you get distracted for like an hour, it could kind of be like that, but with just life. You could end up getting lost into things that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So this is why you want to have a mission, because you don't want to be wasting time doing things that's not going to really bring you anything, and you just get lost in just you see what I'm saying, doing something that's not going to bring you nothing. You want to use the energy for something great in life. So always keep that in mind. But how you get to this state is by building the prana and removing all the energy blockages within you. And then once you do that, then you're at a state of peace. And once you're at that state of peace, then everything comes. Everything comes. And I'm not saying like you don't have to do nothing. I'm telling you, everything comes. At doing something is nothing. You're at a state of being where, if you, let's just say you're at a state of being where you have to go and work one of these bullshit jobs, that's, you're actually looking forward to going up and taking on the day, regardless of what you got to do, because you got the energy flowing through you. So doing something is actually nothing once you get to that state. This is why when you watch, this is why I say, look at a lot of these breatharians who say they're breatharian, or people who are on the path. You notice they're always happy. They're always, it gets to a point where you be kind of thinking these niggas is corny. Like, why this nigga's always smiling? You may say they're loving light, but most of these people who are loving light, they ain't shit. I'm not saying like everyone, because a lot of these people, they just in denial and they don't know what the fuck, which is like 90-some% of people. But the small percentage who are like on this pranic path, I'll notice like they may not have a lot of information and knowledge, but I notice they're always like at one in happiness, and it's real. Like it's real. You may think it's corny. I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's corny, but the average person, based upon how they brought you up in society, will make you think that this person's corny. But this person just actually done the inner work, and it goes beyond just doing just shadow work. Shadow work is a stage, but this pranic lifestyle, it goes beyond that. Which, at the same time, most people on a higher esoteric spiritual level, depending on who you're listening to, some people may say pranic energy is demonic or is Luciferian because it's about having you be into feelings. So I don't want to tell you guys like it's some spiritual thing. This is something, because I don't even look at it as demonic, because anything that can help you get to where you need to be in life and make you be more, have a zest to want to be on your mission, I don't see that as demonic. But I can kind of see how some people will tell you, oh, you're in your feelings, thoughts and feelings are demonic, and which, yeah, if you use it for negativity. This is why I tell you, you want to have a purpose and a mission, and not just fuck around and just use the energy just to do a bunch of shit that you don't, because like at the same time, if you're bored, if you're watching a movie and you're bored and you say you want to get high so you can enjoy the movie, there's a reason why you're bored. So it's the same with the prana energy. You don't want to waste your time doing shit you won't want to do just because you have this awareness or whatever. You want to actually be able to manifest and have a mission and a goal. And this is automatically like a note, like it's common sense. I shouldn't have to explain it, but the reason I have to state it is because certain people watch this video be like, oh, you're into your feelings and thoughts, that's Luciferian, that's demonic. But these are the same motherfuckers who, they will talk shit about somebody who's suicidal. Oh, you need to look at the bright side of life and not be so depressed. So if this person wants to take all my information, he's demonic for wanting to have bliss and happiness and seek that, but yet he's in a state where he's got. So these motherfuckers, they don't know really what they want to, they're talking about. This is what I'm telling you guys. Just have your own, use discretion, obviously. But I just have to say this as a disclaimer, because some people will automatically look at this like I'm talking about thoughts and feelings and emotions, where I'm actually, you're just supposed to use these feelings and emotions as a catapult to like get you to do what you got to do, not just something you just, it's not like a drug or nothing like that. And to be honest, the amount of discipline it takes to actually get to this state of being, there's no way you can really get to this point and abuse it, because by the time the hell and the discipline that you have to go through, you're automatically gonna be a person who has a mission and gonna be doing what you got to do by that point. So Nobody, the average lazy fuck who just into spirituality and watches Anunnakis having barbecues in Antarctica and all that dumb Billy Carson shit. The average person who watches that dumb Pan African black melanated occult spirituality, that fake occult spirituality, they don't even have the discipline to even get to this stage. So they can't even use it for their own demonic purposes if they wanted to, because the amount of discipline and the shit it takes, it even gets to a point I'm starting to believe where you have to actually be, it's given to you. Like this breatharianism and the whole path of what I'm talking about is something that the spirit and the energies, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, whatever, it gives you this based upon your mission, what you're doing, and the energy you're putting out. So it's beyond just you got to do A, B, and C, and then you get there. It's beyond that shit. It's actually you do A, B, and C, and you proving yourself, and then you're granted that gift. It's like a gift in this that you have that's given to you due to certain work. So it's not just based upon you just doing whatever like you just gotta stop eating and do this exercise and breathe this way and I'm gonna be breath. It's deeper than that. Way deeper. Because if that was the case, a lot more people will be doing, like, for example, I tell you guys about yoga. Ever since I started doing yoga back in 2021 February, ever since then I noticed changes to my appetite. Fast forward over 3 years, I'm speaking to you guys about breatharianism. I wasn't talking about breatharianism 2021. Yes, I was fasting, but I was not talking about breatharianism. And if you guys watch my videos back in the day, I still have them on my Chauncey One channel, the original one, you will notice I was talking about fasting, but I never talked about breatharianism. I didn't think I could be a breatharian until the beginning of 2023. That's when I started realizing, okay, I can be a breatharian because certain awarenesses and certain, like me just not needing to eat certain things. Then I was like, okay, this is possible. But before 2023, I didn't think I could be a breatharian. I thought I was just going to be somebody who just fasts just to heal myself. I didn't think that. But doing the yoga, me doing yoga all these years, it did something to me, because I remember 2021, my appetite started changing. And I didn't like certain food, and I started getting full. I remember I did a 3-day fast, and then I broke it, and I didn't really feel satisfied. Like usually when I don't eat for like 3 days, I'd be like gorging and the food tastes good. Like a lot of you guys probably would. But I remember I did a 3-day fast in April 2021. After 3 days, I ate, and I was like, I could have kept going. I didn't need to break this shit. And I remember I was kind of pissed. Like I could have kept going. And that's where it began. But before that, like, I didn't think I could be a fucking breatharian, but it was the yoga and me removing the blockages, allowing the energy. But at the same time, you could go on YouTube right now and type in yoga. You'll see a lot of people doing yoga, but they don't talk about breatharianism. They don't have no changes to their diet. Yeah, they may eat healthy or whatever, but they don't have the same experience I went through, because it has nothing to do with just the yoga or the breath work or it's something deeper. It's a spiritual calling and a spiritual thing that's taking place, and you have to have intentions and be on a mission, and it's added to you. So this is why I'm telling you, it's deeper than just that. Because if that's the case, everybody, there's a nigga, fucking, I forgot his name. He teaches about Qigong. This fucking nigga, he looks like the average bot that you see working at Best Buy in the Geek Squad department. Fucking balding in the middle of his head, white nigga. And the way he talks is so goddamn like customer service and shit. He talks like a customer service rep. He looks fucking low vibrational and shit. Even the way he looks. He's been doing Qigong for over 10 years. I can tell his ass eats fucking the combo meal at fast food every now and then. I can tell by the way he looks. I'm not saying he's fat or he's out of shape, but he just looks like a regular bot. He's been doing Qigong for years. Same with yoga. You see all these bitches out here, they be doing yoga and shit. And there's this one female who I watched her video, and that video gave me ideas on how to take my yoga further. So I'll link her channel, but I respect her channel. So I'm not talking about her, because she actually is the one who actually knew how to do the yoga. And even to this day, I still subscribe to her channel. I'll put the link down. I think it's called, I forgot the name of her channel. It's a weird name, but yeah, but most people who do yoga, they're not even on no diet tire shit. They just do it just for the poses and to look good, and they just do it as a selling point and a niche to get into to make money. Which I'm not hating on them making money off of it, but this tells you that just doing these practices doesn't mean a damn thing. It's a deeper meaning. Yeah, somebody said, Coach, how the fuck do you know? I must have put her video. Yeah, that's her name. How the fuck do you know? Damn. You must have remembered because I did put her link. Her name is Cool Chance. Yeah, I must have put her link months ago, like a year ago or something, and you remembered. Yeah, that's her name. But what's it called? I was watching her videos and shit, and she's the only person who teaches you about yoga and how to actually hold the poses. Because all the other people I was listening to, I was doing it wrong. And I was like, for a year, I was doing yoga and I wasn't getting no results. But when I did hers, I actually got results because she told you to hold the pose in her one of her workouts. She was holding the pose for like a minute, 2 minutes, like 2 minutes. She was holding the pose. Every yoga pose you do, I don't care if it's your legs, your hips, your back, any pose you do, hold it for 2 minutes at the minimum. If you can't do it because in the beginning it's gonna be hard, do it for at least no less than a minute. But you have to hold these poses for as long as you can. I don't even want to say a minute. Just hold it for as long as you can, and you got to do it repeatedly. And that's what releases the blockage. And over a course of weeks, months, just 3 weeks every day doing yoga and holding the pose and doing it. Let's just say if you want to stretch out your neck, you want to hold the pose for like 2 minutes, as long as you can hold it, and you want to keep doing it at least 5 reps, 6, 7 reps, as much as you can, and make it where the muscle is soft and fatigue and is loose. Once you do that every day for at least 2 weeks, you will feel a difference. And from that feeling of that difference that you feel, it's gonna motivate you to want to keep going even more, because you're gonna know, okay, this is working. So this is what's gonna get you hooked. But you have to go through and do it. I'll say you'll start feeling a difference within a few days, to be honest. A week at the minimum, but a week at the most, you'll start feeling a difference, guaranteed. But a few days at the minimum. But you got to just keep doing it, and then once you keep doing it, you're gonna feel the looseness in your body. Some of you guys have tension, and that tension is what's causing your depression, your anxiety. A lot of you guys, you think you're relaxed. Like right now, you're watching my video. You think you're just relaxing watching my video. You're not relaxed, because once you really stretch out your muscles and you do a whole full body yoga, you're gonna start feeling certain. You're gonna feel like you're in a different body, because a lot of your muscles are constricted. So with your constricted muscles, you're not able to really feel your body like it's intended to. But you've been living this way for like all your life. You think it's normal, but once you do these yoga stretches, you feel more looser. And as you feel more looser, you're gonna start thinking different. You're gonna start perceiving different. Even the way everything's just gonna be different, because you gotta understand your nervous system, and that connects to your brain, that connects to your eyes, your nose, your taste buds, the way you feel, the way you think. That's your nervous system. When you have muscles putting tension on that, it conflicts how you're feeling. So you may feel depressed, you may feel anxiety, you may have certain desires and habits and certain like just cravings and shit, and just all this other shit. That's because of your nervous system is constricted. Once you release that, then do the yoga and the stretches and the poses, you're gonna notice, you're gonna start feeling more balanced, more clear-minded. You're gonna start feeling like how the human body is supposed to feel. But you don't know that because you've been so conditioned, and you've been in these tight poses. And once you do that, you're gonna feel like you can't. You're gonna want to keep going even more. So this is why it's very important to do yoga. Yoga, fasting, qigong, everything. Not just the yoga, because the yoga is one aspect of it. Because some of you guys may do yoga, but may have other things that you say, why can't I get rid of it? I've been doing yoga. It's because you got to cleanse the body as well. Your blood may be kind of toxic. You may have certain elements, like your liver may have fatty liver or some shit, or your heart may be need cleansing, or other organs. So this is what the fasting is for, because it cleanses it. the yoga gets rid of the pressure. Even when you get rid of the pressure, even if you have, like, let's just say you have fatty liver disease or you have a heart attack because you have clogged arteries, the tension of the muscle is what's going to make you be able to live 70 and have a heart attack or 60 and have a heart attack. If you have a clogged artery and you have tense muscles, this is why you see some people die from age 60 and they have a heart attack. But you may see somebody, they live to age 80 and they have a heart attack and they have clogged arteries. It's because they had clogged arteries. They didn't have that much tension on their muscle. So they were able to live to age 80 or 75 before they had a heart attack. Whereas this person died from age 55 or 65 because not only he had clogged artery, he had the tension. So that tension is going to make or break how quicker your organ is going to fail. So this is why all of it's good. Fasting to cleanse, get rid of the clogged artery, to cleanse all the fattiness, all the junk shit, the junk cell. Then you want to release through the yoga, to release that, to give to allow the prana, that energy to flow. Because if it can't flow, if it's blocked, and then the qigong is what energetically strengthens these organs. It strengthens it. It's like a, look at it like a, the thing they put on your heart to get your heart pumping. When you have a heart attack, they jolt your heart. Look at qigong kind of like that, but without the technology, it jolts it from an energetic point to get it. They put that vibrancy in it to get it stronger. So you need all of that, and these are the only three things you need for healing and health. The reason they tell you and I'm not saying herbs, eating healthy and all that shit is wrong, but the reason that they push that in society is because in this society we live in a capitalistic system, and corporations need to make money, not just from selling you food, but they also need you back in the office. They can't have you take a 6-month sick leave and heal and fast and work on health. They can't have you do that. They need you back in the office. So if you have fatty liver or something wrong with your tonsils or a gallbladder issue, they're going to just have you remove the gallbladder or do surgery on the liver or remove the tonsils, because they can't have you take 6 months or a year to heal yourself and you can't go in the office, but they need you back in the office. So this is part of the reason they have their health system is so keen on taking organs out of your body. Oh, your kidney hurts, just take it out. Get surgery and just cut it out. They even have surgery. When people have like a herniated disc, the surgery for a herniated disc is removing a piece of the bone so the nerve can flow. But if you're doing yoga, I'm telling you, the nerve can flow by doing stretches. If you guys have a grandma, a grandpa, or somebody who had a herniated disc, or they have back issues and they go get surgery, when they give surgery for back issues, they're cutting a piece of the spine out so the energy can flow. Ask your doctor, what do you do when you do back surgery and somebody has back pain or they have a herniated disc? They cut a piece of the bone out so the energy can flow, so the nervous system's not tense. Why do you need to cut a piece out when you could do stretches and yoga? But stretching and yoga takes time. It takes discipline. They need you back in the office. So this is why I'm telling you, like, this whole medical system is about it's about getting to the root. It's not getting to the root cause. It's like a band-aid, and the issues come back because if you get certain surgeries on your back, there's certain yoga poses that you can't even do. It's not going to work because there's no bone there. So if you go through certain surgery poses, get certain surgery, if there's certain poses that you can't even do because it's not going to work the right way because there's no bone there. So nobody tells you this shit. This is why the nervous system is very important. Anytime you have any depression, anxiety, sickness, illness, mental illness, even insecurity, or you get triggered by something, or somebody just triggers the fuck out of you, or something happened to you when you were like 10 years old and you can't stop thinking about it. You're ruminating thoughts. This has to do with a nervous system blockage. Nothing to do with that event. If anything, if you remove that nervous system blockage, that event is actually going to be a catalyst to make you be more powerful. Because remember, they say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So that thing that you think is making you the most depressed, that, oh, I wish I didn't go through this because it's making me depressed. That's gonna be the thing that actually brings the life out of you. That's gonna motivate you and propel you and make you a stronger person. You're gonna be glad. Like, I'm glad I went through that situation because I have so much power and will. This is why you see so many people who are so, like, you're like, how does this person so successful? Like, they're so motivated and they keep going, is because they tapped in. They released that blockage. So now they're able to actually have access to all their energy, and that same thing that brought them down motivates the fuck out of them. This is why you want to work on the nervous system. It's very important. Nervous system, that's especially if you have mental illness triggers, because a lot of people tell you do shadow work, but this is the shadow work. Shadow work comes in many shapes and forms, but what I'm seeing based upon the internet and people having anxiety, and a lot of people just in very, even when you're lazy, nobody's truly lazy. Everybody has energy. It's just society wants you to think that your laziness is something to do with you, just the way you think, which it is, but it's because your nervous system is blocked. Your energy channels is blocked. You need to release these energy channels so you can have the energy. They don't want you to know that. So then you can go to the doctor, and then now they can make you identify, well, I'm just a lazy person. I don't have motivation like this person. And then you look at somebody who ain't even shit, and you think they're somehow special than you because they're able to get more done than you. Was maybe he wasn't born with energy blockages, because some people aren't born with energy blockages because they have other problems, because we all got problems. So somebody who's not born with energy blockage, they were able to manifest, let's just say, a business at 18 and be able to do this, and people look at them, oh, why can't you be like this guy? This motherfucker didn't have blockages. If I didn't have blockages and I would have done exactly what he did, I'll have a bigger business than him. I'll have a better, whatever the fuck you want to say that is supposed to be a high status for the Matrix. A lot of these people you see that accomplish things before you, that your family may say is, oh, look at this person. You may look at them and be like, oh, maybe they are. No, if you didn't have your blockages based upon your strong spirit, you would have surpassed them. Even by the time you accomplish what you got going on, and you release your blockages today, you'll be more ahead than a lot of these people, because they weren't born with any blockages. They didn't have as much trial and tribulation to overcome. So when you get there, you're going to overcome them and surpass them. This is why you see people surpass people in life. You may see somebody who's on top, and then this person comes in and they surpass them. Like, oh, this person's lucky, or what? Hell no, he ain't lucky. This person just has the fucking energy. That's all it really is. When you see somebody who's able to when you see like a person who's homeless on drugs, and you see somebody who went to college and they did all the shit the system did, don't think that person's more smarter. That person just didn't have the blockages, or maybe they did have the blockages, but they got rid of their blockages early. That could be a thing where they got rid of their blockages early. But most people aren't even really born with it, and they will do certain things and make themselves think that they're better. But no, if I didn't even have my blockages, if we both didn't have blockages, and we both had our system running optimal, I will surpass you, because at that point, it will be based on which spirit is stronger. It wouldn't just be based on who has a blocked nervous system. So a lot of people that you may see more successful than you, you're more stronger than them. You just have a lot more to deal with. And most of the time, it could be because you've been here a lot of times, so you know more. Your spirit's more intelligent than them. And since you've been here more, you should know better. So you don't have grace. This is why in your family, you get blamed for shit. You may be going through a problem. And like for me, I was going through an issue back in 2019 when I was going through my health issue. And I was literally going to die. Ain't nobody in my family believe me. They looked at me like I was crazy and shit. They didn't believe me. But then there was other people in my family who were sick, and they catered to them and everything. And it pisses me the fuck off, but I'm actually glad it happened, because it let go of attachments, because certain things I was attached to, certain people in my family I was attached to. But once I seen that darkness of them, I'm not saying I don't love them, but I don't care. Like, if something were to happen to them, I'll be sad, but I won't be as sad and attached as I would have been before, because I know this world ain't shit and people ain't shit. So in a way, I'm kind of glad, because it let go of those attachments of me caring about. I'm not saying I don't love them and I don't care about them, but it's a different. I look at reality real now. I don't look at it from a false sense of overly, like, just a fake sense that's not real. You see what I'm saying? But the reason why shit like this happens is because you don't have, when you're a strong spirit, you don't have grace. The energies don't give you grace. Whether your spirit, you want to call it God, the universe, it doesn't give you grace. It don't give you grace because you should know better. It's like a felon who killed 20 people or who robbed 20 banks. If he goes to the judge ain't gonna have no grace compared to somebody it's their first time offense. You see what I'm saying? It's because he should know better. He been in it. You a strong spirit. You've been through more experience. A lot of this shit you niggas is chasing that you guys think is gonna make you happy. You've been there, done that shit, and had the t-shirt. This is why a lot of shit is restricted from you niggas sometimes, is because you abused it in the past life. So in this life, you're restricted from that. And you're wasting your life trying to get something you've already done and that you're trying to get away from. And you're thinking, oh, why does this person have this? And why don't I? But you probably done that and had that in the past life. And you need to detach from it because you've been too much in that energy. It's one of their first time. They just getting into that energy. So you got to look at it like that. This is why you don't have, a lot of you niggas don't have grace from your family members and shit. And you can't like get mad and hate them and shit. They're just weak spirits, and it is what it is. You just got to look at it for what it is. And then the more and more I heal, I look at it, even when I see them, like they'll complain and bitch and moan, and I look at it from a different perspective now. Like I don't feel sympathy no more as much as I did before. Not that I don't care, I won't help, but if I help, is more so out of, I'm gonna give you knowledge and information. I'm not gonna just sit there and give you something that doesn't make sense. So you guys gotta know what's going on here. Don't let this world beat you down. This is why having a good mentality is going to get you very far in life. Even if you're in a situation that's negative, having a good perspective of it, that's going to get you far. Most people that you see that are suffering, this is why when you see a homeless person on the street, don't be like, oh, I could be homeless like that. Don't look at it like that. Because even if we're not saying you can't be homeless, because you could be homeless, but you could be homeless like him, but be in a better mindset. He's depressed. He doesn't know the information that I have and that I'm telling you guys. So when he's homeless, he's going to be more miserable. Just like I was talking shit in my other video, and I said, oh, you niggas driving a cheap car. And I was like, you guys probably looking at me like, oh, you drive a cheap car too. But the thing is, I don't care. If you have the car I had, you'll be depressed. You'll be trying to figure out how you can, oh, you're just miserable. And I'm not saying don't work on bettering yourself, but if you were in my situation, you'd probably be miserable and depressed. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? If I was in your situation, I'll be able to better up and transmute it and be in an even positive situation quicker. But you're not, because you don't have my knowledge. So just because you see somebody struggling doesn't mean that that's going to be you. Somebody could be struggling, but when you're struggling like them, you don't matter. You're not in a, you have a different intelligence. You have a different spirit. So therefore, you're going to be more, you're going to manifest solutions quicker than them. Whereas they're going to still stay in their fucking bullshit and be victim and complain on fucking Biden and he's the reason I can't afford a Big Mac and some stupid shit. Like all these other dumbass sheep out here. They just complain and they bitch and moan. And I'm not saying that the world doesn't have problems, but you got to look at it like everybody ain't going through that issue. Everyone ain't going through it. And the more and more I gain awareness, the more and more I start to see like a pattern in people. And when I say a pattern, I'm saying every single person that I hear complaining about. And when I say complain, I'm not saying you shouldn't, everything in this world is perfect. I'm saying they're complaining from a victim mindset, such as they can't do nothing about it. Every time I see a person who's complaining from a victim mindset as they can't do nothing about it, about when it comes to finance, when it comes to their health, when it comes to just their overall well-being, they always make dumbass decisions and they think in a dumbass way. Like there'll be people who will complain about how I don't have no money. But then I'll tell them, why don't you get into crypto market? Why don't you get into stocks? Why don't you try to work on your health? Because it's not always about the money. Usually when you have an external problem, it's something internal. Why don't you work on something external to fix that problem within? And then externally, you tell them this, they look at you like, you know what the fuck you're talking about? That doesn't work, or they just overlook it. And in my mind, I'm like, bitch, suffer. That's why you're suffering. And I'm glad you're suffering. You need to suffer because you want to be ignorant. Life is going to just whip you on your ass. So this is why I say, when you see people out here playing victim, always remember that they are creating that situation. Don't get me wrong, we all go through negative things, but when you see somebody in the same situation year over year over year, they're creating that. That's their problem. Don't be like, oh, they're suffering, I'm gonna suffer. No, you're not gonna suffer like them. Just because you see somebody suffer, oh, anybody could be homeless. No, not me. Because even if I was homeless, I ain't homeless. So not me. Who said I got to be depressed and miserable just because I don't have something or that whatever? You see what I'm saying? The reason that they're depressed because they're fucking retarded. They're not the same spirit as me. Just like you guys say, that's a bot. That's a bot. He's stupid. He's a bot. So when he goes through problems, he's gonna have a bot perception. When you go through problems, you don't have a bot perception. So when you go through something as bad as them, you're gonna be in a better position still. Your worst day is one of their best days. I remember somebody say it was this rich influencer, and people were like, "You're broke," because I guess he got his channel to monetize or some shit. And everyone was like, "Oh, you're broke, you're broke." That's what everyone kept saying. And he's like, "Nigga, my broke is your nigga's best days." That's what he said. He's like, "My broke is your richest days." And it made sense because because people are so quick to call celebrities broke if they go through some type of situation where they lose a lot of money. Let's say they get sued, they get demonetized, or something happens where they end up having a show canceled and they were on this TV show. Everyone's, oh, look, he's broke now. He has to go work at McDonald's. But it's like, nigga, if he has tens of millions of dollars and he lost $5 million, how can you call him broke? Even if he's at $500,000 a year, that's still less money than tens of millions of dollars. But his broke is, nigga, your best day. So that's how I look at it with things, with just overall well-being. Your worst day, my worst day is your best day, because you will never have the knowledge, intelligence, and the wisdom to be able to get yourself out. And even if I couldn't get myself out because I made a mistake that was too bad, my spirit's been through so much, I have so much knowledge, nigga, like, who gives a fuck? I'm still going to be in a higher position than you. Because you still, and I'm not saying that spirit can't, because people say, oh, each spirit has the ability to get to where another spirit is. And you're right. But some things, in order for you to accomplish, it takes eons. It takes millions of lifetimes. To get certain knowledge, information, it takes time. And not only that, it takes going through certain experiences, such as certain pain and pleasures that take time. And so, yeah, you could get to that same space as another spirit, but it may take you a few fucking eons or a whole bunch of experiences that you have to try to manifest and get there, and all this time and effort. So don't forget that shit. Don't get too excited. Oh, I could be where that person's at, and it's going to take you some time. But you can still get there. But I don't think you just get there just based upon fucking, you just want to be there and you just got to get there because somebody gave it to you. Fuck that shit. That's not how it works. Got to see what's going on here. I'm going to read some of these comments. Yoga exposed the best health remedy for a weak and nervous. Exactly. That's why you want to do real yoga, though. None of this bullshit. What I suggest, and I'm going to do a yoga video. Look up yoga poses and don't even follow their routine. I'm going to get them out with a good routine. Just look at the poses they're doing and just recreate the poses and hold the poses down. So if you have back issues, look up back stretches. And when you see somebody doing back poses, do that pose, but hold it. Don't follow their routine, because they're going to just do it for a few seconds, and then they're going to, because they try to dumb it down so the average bot can, because everybody lives a so-called hectic life, whatever the fuck that is. Ain't no such thing as a hectic life. People just don't want to People just don't have time management. Stop watching 2 hours of fucking Netflix and do 2 hours of yoga, or fucking study or read whatever, or do whatever you got to do that's productive for 2 hours instead of watching yoga or watching Netflix. So it's not like people don't have enough time. People just want to be comfortable. So when Friday, Saturday, and Sunday come, instead of clocking out of work and clocking into their own 9 to 5 so they can better their life, they want to go out and watch a movie. They want to go out and eat at a restaurant and hang out with friends and go to a party and club. And they program their mind like that's justified. And that's the most dangerous thing you can do, because once you get to age 60, 70, you're going to realize all of those things you thought was normal, such as, oh, working hard means you're supposed to reward yourself, or when you work hard, you're supposed to have money, or oh, I have time to do this, so I'm going to use my time to relax. Because all of these stupid programs, you're going to realize, like, yeah, I did all those things, but I'm not where I want to be. And then there's going to be another guy who's 60, 70, who has $20 million in retirement funds, or fuck the money, he's just more happy and at peace and has his own little abode in a nice part of the world and just chilling, while you're fucking on Social Security working at Walmart like these old ass fucking greeters and shit. These old bitches that are just trying to stop people from shoplifting because they're so upset with their life and they ain't got shit. So when they see somebody else walking out the store, they want to sit there and be some fucking police Karen. Oh, you need to stop, but bitch, you don't give a fuck about that nigga stealing. Your ass ain't got shit, and nobody ever ain't got you shit in life. So you get upset when you see a motherfucker out there stealing shit. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying stealing is right, but even when you see a motherfucker with money who actually works for it, they still get angry and jealous, but they can't express that, because if they did, it'll make them look like a hater. It'll be weird. So they can only express it when they see somebody stealing. But in reality, even if they see somebody get their shit together with money, they still will be miserable, because that's how fucking demonic these people are. You don't want to be that type of old ass motherfucker. And the reason why, the difference between that old person and an old person who got their shit together, because that old person on Saturday, Sunday, I don't have enough time. Don't get me wrong. You may believe, and you may very well believe that, but at the end of the day, results matter. At the end of the day, we in 2024, in 2021, you were probably saying that. We in 2024, that shit don't matter about the time you're retired. What matters is, do you have what you want to accomplish? You don't have it. So you need to change something. You need to change something. You may have to get rid of certain things and never ever do something in your life. And you may say, well, I need to do that. Well, if you want to do it, then do it. But don't complain when you're not part of that 1% and you're part of everybody else. You got to make it a way. And I'm not telling you guys you got to do, you can look at me and say I'm crazy, I'm going to do it, and then waste 3-4 years of your life trying to make it work, and it's not going to work. Because the way the universe is actually designed is, you can't get any type of real, this is why a lot of people are miserable and living a life they don't want to live. You can't, it's actually like factored in and calculated in the way this reality works. You can't reach any true happiness, bliss, or success without making a sacrifice and going through certain trials and tribulation. Like, imagine it like a formula. Like, if you want to make fucking soup or a chemical reaction, there's certain chemicals, there's certain ingredients you need to put in the formula. You can't make soup if you don't have broth or chicken broth or certain ingredients. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called soup. So just like that, if you want success, there's certain things you have to put in it to get it. And one of those things is trial and tribulation and discomfort and sacrifice. These things, if you don't have it in the formula, you can't get success. There's no way you can get success without going through that. Even when you see people who sell drugs, a cartel, or a nigga who's like a dope dealer who made like millions of dollars, if you look at his whole life, his whole empire, there was times where his family got kidnapped, he got attempted assassinated, he was kidnapped, somebody robbed his drugs, one of his henchmen got killed, one of his drug mules got caught up and he lost $100,000 pack. He didn't just get $100 million just selling drugs and it was like that. He went through hell. That's why you see a lot of these cartel and gang leaders, they're always very angry. A lot of you guys think they're just angry and upset. because they have to act like that to be tough. No, they've been through a lot of shit, because in order to reach a high position, whether it be positive or negative, you have to go through a lot of shit. So they've been through a lot of shit. Like you watch those mafia movies, and then the mafia boss would be ruthless. And like, how is he so ruthless? It's because in order for him to be there, he had to have gone through a lot of shit. And a lot of that shit traumatized him and angered him. So he has no sympathy. A lot of his henchmen got caught up at the airport with $1 million worth of drugs. Gone. A lot of his henchmen got killed by the other people, his enemies. Maybe his daughter got kidnapped. All of that shit traumatized. So they have anger. And then that added to their success. If they didn't go through that, they wouldn't have been able to be as big as they are. So it don't matter what it is. That's just an example. You could flip that to the positive as well. So like, don't think you're gonna get success without putting in any effort or any work. He's experienced the same when I had severe heart issues. My family gave zero fuck. Exactly. And the fact that you say that makes me actually kind of think that maybe that was how it's supposed to be, and that was part of what it was. That's exactly what it is. And that's supposed to, I'm not saying you should hate your family for it, but it's making you look at it from a perspective, because now when you finally get your shit together, you're not going to allow certain people to come and try to take what was given to you or what you've earned. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to allow any, because a lot of people will say that, I made an example in one of my videos on this channel. I forgot, damn, what was the example? I said, sometimes it's good to get your shit together. Like the positive about getting your shit together later than early is, if you're 18 and let's just say your parents want you to move out the house and you didn't move out at 18. Let's just say you really want to get your shit together. Let's just say you got your shit together at 18. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's good. Let's just say you didn't. You did. At that point, you'll have so much people that, oh, they'll respect you. Look what you did. Look what you accomplished. And since you didn't live that much of your life, you will actually think that they love you because of you, because you just turned 18 and you got your shit together. But if you make it to age 26, 27, 30, especially you hit your saddle return and you didn't get your shit together, you're going to see a different side of your family for those 10 years than if you were to get your shit together at 18. So from 18, you may end up thinking that your family really gives a fuck about you, because but in reality, it's just because you got money, you got success. But by the time you get to 27, all those years, they're like, oh, you a bum ass thinking you ain't shit, you ain't nothing. By the time you get your shit together at 30, they come out, oh, hey, how you doing? They start having the same energy they would have had at 18. But since you're 27, 30, you're like, wait, you weren't acting like this throughout my 20s. Why the fuck? Like, so that things like this is supposed to get you to and I'm not saying you shouldn't help your family, whatever, but I'm just telling you, like, look at it from a perspective, like, it's good in a way. It's good that this happened, because it releases attachment. It makes you see people for who they really are, because there's no such thing as no conditional love. And I don't even want to say there's no such thing as conditional or unconditional. Love is just what the fuck it is. It's love. The same way you have laughter or anger or this fucking sweater. It's a fucking emotion. It's a thought. It ain't shit. So love is what it is. It's what it is. It has nothing to do with conditional or unconditional. It's just what it is. Just sometimes you get love from people and sometimes you don't get it. And that's where it stops. All this conditional, unconditional, that's fake. Once you start trying to seek conditional, unconditional, all this shit, and that's when problems occur. At the end of the day, is people give you love sometimes and people don't give you fucking love, because it is what it is. Just like I laugh, I'm not laughing. It's the same fucking thing. So it ain't that deep. But you just gotta understand, like, ain't no, you're gonna have your own. You're gonna have your best back. You're gonna have your best back, because you can reach your back more than anyone. Ain't nobody can reach your back as quickly as you can. Even if they want to stab you in the back and you're not looking, they still got to go think and go up to you. You could just, you see what I'm saying? You could stab your back quicker than somebody else. So you'll always have your back. So you always got to realize that ain't nobody really shit in this world. And I'm not saying, like, don't look at people like they aren't shit and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that, because there's an equilibrium. You don't want to be too cold hearted, like, and be like, oh, fuck everyone. Because we live in a world where we have to work together. And if anything, if you can, use your family as in a way that they can help with you. Like you can teach them something to get them on your level, and then they can help you back, and you can build something. Because if you could get the family to work as a unit, that's best. So I'm not saying go and say fuck them all or whatever, but don't get it to a point where they just leech you and they just taking advantage of you and all that. You can't do that shit. That's why, like, when I told you about like how they didn't care, and you said that your family didn't care about your situation, sir. This was back in 2019. So nowadays they'll tell me certain things that I need to be doing, or they'll be like, "Oh, you need to go get a job, work somebody, so you can come and you can." I guess like somebody in my family was having money issues. Like you should. My dad's all saying you should be trying to help, support. And in my mind, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, why when it comes to money, like you care about my situation when it comes to money, but if I'm telling you about my health issues, you didn't care about it. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I said, I literally said, I was like, you can't project what you want into me. You want that. I don't want that. And then after that, they did, because I don't really want to get too deep, but like they just left it at that, because like based upon my situation, my family's not really like, they're kind of shy from being emotional. Like they don't like to, they're not really emotional like that. Like in terms of if there's a problem, they don't speak about it. They just kind of push it to the side, and it's like just get to whatever they're trying to accomplish, whether it be money or success, or it's not really about that. So that's why when they try to come at me and tell me, "Oh, why do you steal or why do you do this?" I'd be like, "Who the fuck are you to tell me shit? You can't tell me a goddamn thing, motherfucker. I was about to die. You didn't give a fuck." So it's like I don't give a shit. So like that's why I have that type of energy. Like I don't care. Like my mom, she knows I steal and everything. I don't give a fuck if she knows I steal. I tell them I steal. I was like, I don't give a shit. And then they know not to say nothing. Like because once you have a strong mind, like before they used to kind of say certain to me, but as I started getting spiritual, I don't even have to. I don't even speak to them spiritual no more. But they automatically know that I don't give a fuck. So they don't even you know how some parents like to talk to their kids and be like, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that," and give them like they don't even say that anymore to me. Like they don't even speak to me like that, because they already know what time it is. Like they already know I'm about to. It's about to be that smoke. Because like once you show me that you don't care about my health and all that, I'm not saying I show like anger. I just have a I don't give a fuck attitude. Like a straight up I don't give a fuck attitude. So it's like it is what it is. Because like why should I care about something that you don't? I should care about something that's least important than what's important to me. You don't care about my health and shit, so why should I care about the shit you want me to care about? Like, yeah, that's why I'm always grateful that like I've always been a very strong spirit. Like I've never really gave a fuck. If I get upset over something, it's mainly the principle of it. It's not like I don't need their love. I don't need anybody's like love or care, or I don't need that shit. Like that shit doesn't, because I came in this world alone and I'm gonna die alone. I chose this situation, and based upon what I need to accomplish, I can see why I chose the parents I had. And if anything, it makes sense, because like most people, they have to choose certain people in their life that they're around based upon the level of their spirit. I don't need somebody to show me grace, because I already know what I need to do. At one point, like before 2019, around that time, I didn't know the sheer power of my spirit. So it kind of angered me. But as I'm gaining awareness and I went through certain things, I'm like, I didn't even need any of these people. That's why when I see people that complain about mommy and daddy issues, like, oh, my parents left me. Like I remember my brother and shit. He'll always bitch and complain about how my dad, he wasn't there for me and he didn't. Like, shut your fucking mommy and daddy issue ass up. You just a weak ass spirit. Because at the end of the day, if you feel like, this is just me. I'm not saying all you guys have to feel like, but me, I don't look at it like they caused any of the issues. Maybe there may be issues subconsciously I enact, but consciously I don't look at them as the blame, because I look at them as they didn't know shit themselves. So how can they really been 100% if they didn't know shit? Because I look at them like they're children. Like when I see my parents, I look at them like they're children, like they're literally kids. That's how I look at them. I don't look at them like most people look at their parents. So that's why when I see the mistakes they made, I don't even look at it. If anything, they were actually probably one of the best suits for me to come down here, because I was able to have a lot of stability when I was younger. So as far as like me being stable, that's like the only reason I chose them, was because of how stable they were. And I was able to manifest a situation where I had parents that were stable and not fucked up, because my spirit knew what the fuck it was doing. So it chose parents that were very stable as fuck. And so I always had everything taken care of from a young age. So I'm not tripping at that. And that's all I really needed. I didn't need because they couldn't teach me shit emotionally, mentally. They couldn't teach me shit from anything. But from a stability point of view, I'm glad I didn't have to grow up in no hood or any of that shit. And that's where I leave it. That's why I don't hate too much, because from that point it was good. But as far as everything else, they couldn't teach me shit. That's why another reason I don't want to have no fucking kids, because like I see how my brother and my sister be kind of treating my dad and shit. It's like, oh, I don't want to call him and I don't want to talk to him. And in my mind, I'm like, I'll be damned if I have some fucking kids and I gave the world to them, and then they don't want to fucking call me or talk to me. And I'm like, I'm not having no fucking kids just for them to be potential enemies. Because a lot of you niggas, depending on your natal chart, you may have like some type of shit like Pluto in the 5th house or some shit. A lot of some type of negative aspects to the 5th house or maybe the 3rd house. You may end up having kids that are your worst enemies. They end up being against you. Or the mother takes the kids from you and poisons their mind. I seen some faggot ass white kid, like he looked gay, and I guess the mother, he's like fucking like in his 30s, and he's fucking lived with his mother and shit, and he's all like, oh, I hate my dad and he ain't shit and stuff. And then I'm like, did you even ever stay with your dad? That's what the interview was like. Did you ever live with your dad? He's like, no, my mom took him away and she told me that he's narcissistic, and I seen a video, and the guy's like, you believe her? You know, why don't you go out and talk? And then like the kid's already fucked up. So I'll be damned if I have kids that end up fucking like that. That's another reason I don't want no kids. Because me, I'll be the first one to be like to my kids, like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you. You're a fucking mistake. And I don't want to have to say that and create karma and things in my life just because that's the type of spirit I am. I'll be the first one to be like, bitch, I don't fucking love you. You're a mistake. If it has to get to that point, because that's just how I am. And I don't want to create no karma from that. So that's why one reason I don't never want to have kids, because I do not want to create that karma and accumulate that and create more problems and all. No, I don't want to do all that shit. Because I'll be the first one, because I don't give a fuck about any of this shit, to be honest. Like, I came here alone, I'm gonna die alone. If you ain't on my path and you ain't righteous with my energies, then get the fuck out of here. That's exactly how I see it. Ain't no trying to make it work. We in the age of Aquarius. Anybody trying to tell you, and I'm gonna get to you guys' comments in a minute. Anybody trying to tell you, try to make it work, ain't no trying to fucking make it work. Fuck that shit. If either it works, because if you trying to make something work, it's like if you got a fucking broken disc, it is scratched. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can't fix the disc. Put it in, I'm gonna put in the DVD. It doesn't work. You got to throw it away. People want to say, well, you can repair it and get it fixed. Some discs you can't repair. There's no point of making anything work, because what making it work does is it has you waste time. You waste years of your life. If somebody, like, anytime I see somebody I can't work with, I don't change them. You're not supposed to change them, because that's actually kind of selfish. If a person wants to be a demon, who am I to say don't be a demon? All I can do is remove myself from their situation, because maybe for me to say he doesn't need to be a demon, that's me being a demon. I'm forcing them to do something that they don't want to do. I don't want nobody to tell me to be a demon, and I'm not no demon. So I'm going to force a demon to not be. I'm just going to say, get out my way. And if you do demonic shit to me, then I'm going to attack it accordingly. But I'm not going to go into your life and be like, you need to stop doing this. I'm going to distance myself. I'm not working with you. It's 2024. We're in the age of Aquarius now. If nobody gets it, then they're never going to get it. Life is pretty much over. And when I say life is over and it's the end of the world, I'm talking from a mental perspective. 99.9% of people who don't get it and who don't want to change, they're gonna end up dying this life in that mentality, and they're gonna have to come back. The spirit is infinite. We live millions of experiences. So if they fuck up this life, they got chances to get it right. Even people who don't fuck up and who do everything right and you follow your path, you still gonna have to come back, majority of you guys, because that's how it goes. So only if you could only imagine a spirit who hasn't even got half their shit together, they definitely gonna come back. Some people right now, even if they want to get their shit together today at this moment and they do everything perfect, they still gonna have to come back because of what they didn't do the other half of their life. Some of you guys are gonna have to come back regardless, even if you get your shit together right now, 100%, based upon where your spirit's at and what you didn't do. So what that will mean is you'll die completing your shit, but then you'll come back in a better situation to pick up where you left off and shit. You see what I'm saying? Not saying everybody, but most people. So that's why I'm not dealing with anybody. Like, you could just have to come back and get this shit right. I'm not gonna deal with you because I don't want to manifest a life where I'm gonna be in your life next life, and because I don't fuck with your spirit. He's like, I'm glad. I'm glad I was adopted and separated from my family at birth. That's what I'm saying. There's cons and pros to everything. The good thing about that is you don't have attachments. There's obviously some negatives to that, but there's cons to it. You don't have no attachments. You don't have to worry about just even from an emotional perspective. You don't have to worry about having to lose a loved one, or lose a mother or father, and go through that grief. You don't have to go through all that. So it could be good. I won't say it's bad or good. I look at everything as perspective and based upon what the spirit wants. I'm not gonna say, oh, just to have a family is good, because there's some kids who got a family and their family fucking locked them in a closet, and starved them to death, and CPS had to get them. So it's like it just depends. And my blockages been tougher to release, but you releasing them, you would have been even stronger. Because the harder something is to release, the stronger you're gonna be from that, because of the amount of pain and sheer this just the pain you went through. You can't in order to feel pleasure, you have to go through pain. The more pain you go through, the more pleasure you're able to experience. Fuck it, I'm gonna say our families in these lifetimes, they're not real family. I would look at it as it is family. It is what it is. There's nothing deeper than that. There's spiritual family, and you got the 3D family. The spiritual family, that's something you build with. That's something that's your spirit grows from that. In all totality, your spirit really don't fuck with anything. It's really on a high level. Your spirit is just one, but yet the spiritual family is still very important. Once you get lower down, the spiritual family is important. It's more important than the physical blood family. Like, people will say, "Oh, blood is thicker than water." What I like to say is, bitch, my spirit ain't blood or it ain't water. I ain't blood and I'm not water. Blood and water is physical. It's 3D. I'm none of that shit. So you can sit there and say blood is thicker than water. Yeah, but I'm not none of that shit. So what now? And blood can drown you. A pool full of blood can drown you just like a pool full of water. So what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. A blood can get infected. And blood, just like water can get dirty, blood can get infected. You can get AIDS. People died from having their blood infected. When I had a tooth infection, the infection went into my blood. So look at that infection as mentality, thought forms, situations that happen in life that expose the demons in your family, aka infected by blood. You see what I'm saying? Blood could get infected. Blood was once pure. You thought your family was good. You went through certain situations. That shit got infected. Now you're able to see. Yeah, you can heal the blood and remove the infection, but you always remember what the infection was and what things not to put in it. to not get it infected again. Yeah, and I could even say certain things because I don't want to expose everything, but even like certain things my own siblings had told me that certain things happen, and like you said, they swept shit under the rug, and people don't really. And it what it is that it's an insecurity. Usually, when family members sweep things under the rug, it's an insecurity that they don't want to address. They don't feel comfortable talking about it because they're insecure, and it plays out in certain ways, and like it's really deep. It's shit that they dealing with. This is why I say like you can't. People look at their parents as there's somebody like they're supposed to be all. This is why so many people get upset at their parents because they think that their parents are supposed to be all know. They should know better, and they should know this, and you should have been there and done this. But they human. They just like you. They're especially if they're not awakened and they're aware. What they can only do that just like you make mistakes, they make mistakes. So when you look at it from that perspective, you can't let it get to you as much of the shit they didn't do because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You have this knowledge and information from people like me talking. So only if and you have this information like me and people like me talking, and you still make mistakes and you still have a hard time in life. So only imagine people who don't even have access to this, who their brain is limited, the amount of mistakes they're gonna make. So you can't let it get to you. Like that clears some up for me. That's what's up. I'm glad it did. That's what my videos for. I know my video. A lot of you guys like you could apply it to your own life and it resonates with you. It's weird because I didn't even feel like going into this. Like when I make videos, I just let the information flow through me. I'm not like it just be flowing through me. So maybe this is something somebody needed to hear because the spirit would just I just be talking a lot of this shit I be talking about. Like I be teaching myself. I watch my shit and teach myself certain because the information just be flowing for me sometimes. I didn't even intend on talking about this. Because when you open up these channels and you start bringing this energy in, you start flowing with the information and you start having the knowledge and you know certain things that it just able to, and then you speak on things that people may need to speak on, and then it gravitates people to your message because of what you're talking about. And I don't want to. Rob D said my Saturn's in the fifth house, and if I were to have kids and wife, they would be sick. I don't think of it like that because there's a positive and negative to anything, to everything. Fifth house also rules happiness and enjoyment. Like, don't look at astrology like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. I'm not. I just say that from my perspective. I don't want you guys to look at it from just make it look like that's how life is. That's not really how life is. Like millions, astrology can account for millions of things. There's millions of things that could play out. It's only when we look at hindsight that you're able to look at what specifically paid out. But when you're just it hasn't happened yet, anything can positively happen. And most of that, what's going to happen depends on what you're doing, your intentions, and what your mission is. And if you're in a negative frequency or low frequency, all of that. But the way I see it, though, like I wouldn't advise no one to have kids nowadays for a myriad of reasons. Just even if you're a man and you have kids, the odds of your kids being taken away from you because of some emotional bitch that's on her period, made a decision, and now you're dealing with custody battles your whole fucking life and child support, that the odds of that are very high. A lot of people, especially if you're dealing with these women who have not healed emotionally, a lot of these women are damaged out here. And I see it. And the more aware that I become, the more I'm able to see it. Like I see a lot of women that are very damaged. And like I have a sister and she has a lot of anxiety, depression, and she's just very fucked up mentally. And I could see other women in life show the same patterns in her, and they put on a front. But my sister, when I stay with them, I can see certain things that she does in the house that show that she's very unhealed. But then when she's in public, she has a certain image. So when I see other women walking around, I see that hurt person. And I see it because she does the same thing, because all women, they all act the same for the most part. So I can see that shit and how they play games, and it's just so I'm able to see it. So when I see that type of energy, it automatically turns me off. I just I get away. Even if the girl looks attractive, it's not a turn on no more, because it's I can see the trauma, I can see the pain. And a lot of these women, when they act the way they do, like, and I'm not saying men don't have problems, because men, we have issues too, but men handle it differently. And I'm not saying it's any better or worse. At the end of the day, when we all handle problems, like, problems are usually handled very traumatically and unhealed, but women, they handle it differently. So when you see a lot of these women that are hurt, miserable, upset, and they're just in this mindset, is because they have some type of pain. Especially when you see women that are like reaching their Saturn return, you'll see a lot of women get bitter and angry and have like they feel like they have to be more masculine. They have to be more tough. And when you go to like prison, because men, we most men, we don't act tough. Men have respect for each other. If you really think about it, we don't act like, if I see another man walking, I'm not gonna be like, "What's up?" Even if I see a nigga with tattoos on his face. I remember I walked in the door and he actually bumped into me. He was like, "Oh, my bad." He looked hella tough and bad. Men don't do that, but women, for some reason, they feel the need that they need to do, because they think that all men act tough. So the average woman, she acts like, has like a attitude and acts tough because of this world we're in, and they think acting like that is somehow going to get them ahead and have people respect them. But if you're a female doing that, that's just going to cause a certain energy that you don't want to bring into your life. And I see this a lot. This is what I say. A lot of women, they act masculine, and it's because they feel the urge that they need to have on this tough demeanor to be in the world. But the average man doesn't even have that. The average man, our tough demeanor goes into trying to build our life, trying to overcome obstacles, trying to better ourselves. That's where our energy goes. We only bring that shit out if we're in a prison environment. Like if I'm in a prison yard or something, then you got to be more in that tough. But in society, you have average men have respect. I notice women, they don't have that respect. They have that energy like you in a prison yard. That's the type of masculine they have. And then they get upset when men treat them a certain way, or they attract certain scenarios and situations, and then that just confirms why they're gonna be the dickhead that they're gonna be, or the bitter bitch that they're gonna be. There's gonna be some bitter bitch who got a fucking a PetSmart membership card that they go to, that they use every week because they got like 20 cats. That's the type of female they're gonna end up being, and it's like they create that. And then they complain why no man wants to marry them, but the reason they don't want to marry you because you're emotional. You get upset. And then now if the kid, if there's alimony involved and divorce and kids, that's gonna be a mess. So it's like just hard to really, and then they wonder why a lot of men are going out of the country. And it's like it's and the reason I like, you guys think I'm just hating and I'm talking, the reason I'm speaking about this because you guys don't understand it's getting worse. Right now, you guys, because I look in the future. I have an Aquarius stellium. So I'm always future oriented. I always look in the future. And in about 10 to 15 years, the world is not always going to be how it is today. You always got to look in the future. And about 20 years from now, the world's going to be different. A lot of these boomers that are retired and they keep the system running and they believe in all this shit, they're going to be dying off. A lot of these females that think that, oh, I don't need no man and fuck all these niggas, my standards are this high and good luck meeting them. Bitches like that, in 20 years, they're going to be wrinkly. They're going to be old. They're going to be undesirable. In China, they say after 35, men don't want to date you no more. Unless you got something really, really going on or some shit. And it's rare. So these women are going to be undesirable. There's going to be less Gen X because then people aren't having kids. Gen Z's not having kids. Most of Gen Z When I go on, I look type up antinatalism. Antinatalism is the thought or the theory that people should not have kids. Anybody who has kids is actually doing a misfortune to the kid. It's a whole theory. Most of these people who are onto that are Gen Z. Gen fucking Z. So Gen Z, their kids, they're not going to be having that many kids. You don't even see that many. When you see people with kids, they're around my age or they're around people older than me. They're not, Gen Z's not having kids like that. You don't really see 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds having kids nowadays. It's very rare. So the world is going to change in the next 20 years. So when the world changes, all of these women that think that they're going to be able to have all these men, they're going to be in a whole different world. And by that time, I wouldn't be surprised if they start bringing virtual reality. They're going to have sex robots, and the world's going to be a whole different. This is probably why, like a lot of people say, how are they going to bring in virtual reality and sex robots? And you guys don't believe that it's going to be able to go through, or it's not going to work, or people aren't going to believe it. But you guys got to understand, once most women start becoming older, most Gen Z stop having kids, most boomers start dying, economies start failing, and the society is just changing based upon just the way it is. Things like sex robots, sex AI, social AI, labor AI, all of these things are going to be accepted more VR because of the way the world is going. Like, I wish it didn't have to be like that, but the way the world is going, especially what you see at antinatalism, and everybody's fucking by themselves, nobody trusts each other, nobody's really, like, relationships don't work. I wouldn't be surprised if sex robots become the new thing. And it's not even just sex robots, it's companion robots, an AI bot that just talks to you about whatever. You'll be able to put somebody's consciousness and how they act into a machine, and like it talks to you like it's that person. Shit like that. Like stupid shit like that. Like it's gonna be like the main thing, I feel. Because the way the world's going, and that's just gonna be more accepted. Because like, and like, who's gonna want to date a lot of these women when they get older? Because a lot of these women, they don't understand that when you get older, a lot of men aren't gonna want to date you no more if you have an attitude and if you're a certain age. And I'm not saying like women who are older that don't, because there's some women who are older who can get. I'm not saying that, because if you're spiritual and you on your path that you're manifesting, you will find somebody to attract in your life. If you're older and you're, whether it be man, women, or whatever. This is why you'll see some old women that can find niggas, and some 80-year-old nigga with some young bitch that looks good, and he don't have to give her money, and she ain't a gold digger. So the spirit will bring somebody in your life regardless of the age. But most of these bitches, they're not fucking healed, and they're bitter, and they have a chip on their shoulder, and then it's just gonna bite them in the ass, and they're gonna get older, and then they're gonna regret like making these decisions that they made. And they're gonna regret wishing they had kids and all this. Like I told you guys in my last live stream, the girl, I was selling food stamps to they're two friends, and I guess the guy didn't date her no more. He dated her in high school, and the girl's like in her late 30s. And the guy, I think he's around the same age, and he's like, "Oh, we used to go out in high school, and I dumped him because he cheated. I dumped him." She said, "I dumped him over some stupid reason, but I regret it." But yet she's in her late 30s, and he's in his late 30s, and he's doing his own thing. I don't know if he has somebody, but he's just doing his own thing. But they still friends, and they talk. So I was selling the guy some stamps and selling her some stamps, and she was just telling me this. And in my mind, I'm like, this is exactly what most women are going to end up being like. Because like I said, the spirit will always put situations in my reality to confirm what I'm saying. So it's like it's fucking crazy, man. This shit is crazy. I'm telling you guys, like, this shit is like some of their generational karma blended in with mine, or was it the same? My original blood and karma was lightened. It could be, but if you never know your parents, you wouldn't be able to really know what karma that you're dealing with unless you met them at one point. But it could be because you're the generational curses. It's like only beta males are overly aggressive in public. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because there's really no need to be that. That's why when I see like you see a lot of men who do that, it's usually from an emotional aspect. It's emotional. They try to make you think like, oh, being over aggressive is actually masculine. If you're in a certain environment where it's needed, then it is. But most men, what I see, they're not like that in public. It's mostly women, and women feel the need to. And it's only a certain type of women. It's not all women. It's usually a very damaged woman that has to. They feel like they need to do that because they feel like in their mind, they're like, we're in a masculine world and I got to be taken seriously. So then that's what they do, because I think they attribute the way the world is and how it is, and is based on how they need to act. But that doesn't get them anywhere. That's not how the world operates. Like, a woman is still supposed to be a woman. This Yeah, he's like, women are charged literally, but females are super negative by default. Yeah, and it's getting worse. It's getting extremely worse. This is why a lot of men, they want to move out the country. This is exactly the reason why. Like, at first I didn't understand, but I can see the pattern. Like, it's becoming more prevalent, and I feel like social media has a lot to do with it. Social media is probably one of the main catalysts for a lot of mental illness in this world, because people are already mentally ill due to the nervous system not being taken care of, and just their perception. But when you go on social media, like you guys watching my channel, and you guys, when you watch this video, when you go out in public, it's going to change the way you look at things and think. It's going to motivate you to better yourself. There's bots out here, they watch nothing but garbage, and it doesn't do nothing but amplify their mental illness. So when they go out in public, this is why you see more people they're more divided, they're more angry, they're more upset, because everybody's watching the news. Everybody's watching all these fucking influencers that talk about, I hate men, I hate women, I hate this. So this is why social media is causing more division, because there's so much shit on the internet that you can watch, and people get since most people don't have a life other than going to their job and coming home. The only type of programming they really get from the world besides their job is social media. So when you're watching so much social media, like if you keep watching shit about um police killing black people, you're gonna think that police only kill black people, but police kill white and black people. They just show you only black people so they can get you thinking a certain narrative. Every time when you see a victim, when the victim is black and it was a white person who did the crime, they don't really cover those news. They only cover it if the victim is white, because they want to push a narrative. And this is what creates mental illness in people and false perceptions of people in the fucking world. So you have more racism, you have more just negative bigotry and all this other bullshit. And then, to be honest, it gets to a point where people believe it so much, it actually starts to manifest that way. So it's like, it's crazy. This is why nobody wants to hang out with nobody. Everyone's like wants to just be it. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be like that, to be honest. That's why I don't like, because the reason I don't fuck with people and hang out with people is because I just don't relate to most people. I can't, like me, I'd rather be alone than hang out with people that I don't fuck with. I hung out with people I didn't fuck with back in high school before I knew who I was to the magnitude I do now. And man, that was like the worst mistakes I made in my fucking life. And I'm glad I went through that, because that motivated me so much to just say fuck everyone. And like now, if you don't think like me, I can't deal with you no more. I can't deal with you if you don't think similar to me. And like me having a channel and me seeing a lot of people that resonate with me, it makes me realize that there's people out there. So I'm more keen and getting rid of demons out of my life. So like I don't compromise. Like I'm not trying to negotiate or nothing. And it's like it is what it is. But I think I'm gonna end this live stream, guys. This was a good live stream. Hold on, hold on. Cause somebody said I realized why I felt like I'm not doing something because in reality I'm not really doing something productive. Yeah, we gotta just be more productive. How you can start is by taking care of your health, taking care of your internal world. Do the yoga, fasting, qigong. That's something that's free. You can start today, and you do it every day. And that's something in 6 months from now. If you do this every day, in 6 months from now, you're gonna be in a better position, guaranteed. 3 months, not even 6 months. That's you'll definitely be in a better position. But in 2 months, in a month, you'll be in a better position. You got to just start doing. That's the best thing you can do. Don't worry about the external. If you don't have money, money isn't your issue. If you don't have money, if you don't have, let's just say you want a relationship, the relationship is not your issue. Society wants you focusing on that, so you don't work on yourself. Your your nervous system is a reflection of your external world. If you have a fucked up nervous system, it's gonna play out. Even when your nervous system is in good standing, the thoughts you're having is still a reflection of your external. So your internal is always a reflection. So don't worry about the money. A lot of you guys think money is gonna make you happy, or oh, I need money to fix my issue, or I'm in this situation, and that's not really it. Because even if you have the money, you think it will help you, but it will just make you be more in your demonic state. It'll make you be. You'll end up becoming more lazier, not being more comfortable, wasting more time, and eventually that money you have is going to be gone, and then you're going to be wondering like, what the fuck? Like you still be in the same position, same situation. That's why you got to focus on going like working on your health. Health. This is what I say. Health is wealth. Remember the saying, health is wealth. Is literally a reflection of your wealth, of health. If you don't have your health, you don't have wealth. If you don't have your health, you don't have wealth. Because as soon as you get your health together, it puts you at a peaceful mind state where you don't care about money. Not say you don't care about it, but you're just you're so at peace with yourself that the things that you were stressing about, you don't stress about it because you're at peace with yourself. And once you get into that mindset, that's when things flow easier. This is why you can't teach somebody how to get rich. All of these financial videos that say, "Oh, get rich and buy this course," and I'm not saying they're wrong, but you have to get your health right and your internal right, and then take the courses, then do the things, and then they're gonna work. You always gotta look at reality. There's so many people out here who live miserable lives who are broke, but yet everybody's on their cell phone. Don't you think all these people on their cell phone have a way to go on the internet and look up all these financial gurus in these classes? If they have a way to do all this shit, why aren't they doing it? It's not like they haven't tried it. People tried it, but they just fucking don't do it. It just doesn't work for them. And it's not like they did something wrong. They did everything right. They followed the instructions completely. It just their frequency vibration wasn't right, so it manifests as something going wrong. They're at the wrong place, wrong time. Because once you get your health right, you put you in the right place, right time. You make the right decisions. You make the right actions at the right time, and everything just synchronizes, and it's perfect. You got to understand that. And by the time you get into that state, you really don't even give a fuck about the shit you're caring about. I'm not like you still care about it, but you don't have that demonic craving and desire, that fleshly desire that pushes shit away. You're just more in a state of like you're so at peace with yourself. Even without those things, you're still happy. So that's when you get. Not you can't, oh, I need this to make me happy. You don't want to be in that state. Because even if, let's just say you didn't take care of your health and you got everything you wanted right now. You don't want to be in a position where you got everything you wanted right now. You do not want to be in a position where you got everything you wanted right now without doing the work. Because if you do, If you did get that $1 million, if you did get that relationship, whatever, let's just say you're somebody who want a relationship with somebody and you didn't do the work on yourself to learn how to love yourself. If you get that relation with somebody, if they come in and they expose your insecurities, you won't know how to handle it. And then if they up and leave you, you're gonna probably be one of these niggas like suicidal and shit. Or you're gonna start getting depressed over, oh, why the girl didn't leave me? Maybe you didn't need to be with somebody. Or let's just say you get $1 million and you don't learn how to be happy with yourself. If somebody came and stole that $1 million, you're gonna be in a mindset of lack. You'll be, oh, I got $1 million stolen from me. You're gonna be depressed instead of, oh, I got $1 million. I lost it. It's part of the game. Because one thing that's part of making money is you lose money. Because that's what I call it, currency. It's a current. It's a flow. Money is unlimited. It's limitless. It's not finite. So this is why when you see a lot of successful rich people, they win a lot of money and they lose a lot of money. There's nobody who's a multimillionaire who hasn't lost thousands of dollars. In some cases, millions of dollars. Look at people like Warren Buffett and all these rich ass people like Greg Cardone. They have stories where they've lost millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands. The stock market crashed. They lost fucking $800,000. Somebody gypped them from 80 grand. They bought a financial course for 30 grand. They didn't get their money. They all have stories because it's a current. But if you're not in a right healthy mindset, you're gonna let that loss um affect you. A lot of you guys, if you lost your cell phone right now, you'll be stressing. So imagine if you got 30 grand and you lost the shit, you're not you're not in the abundant mindset, you're gonna be stressed. This is why you want to be at peace with yourself, because when you're at peace with yourself, it's like everything in your life is like a current. It comes and it goes. Money is something that it's a current. You get it. Sometimes you get a lot of it. Sometimes you don't get a lot. But at the end of the day, it's unlimited. So when you do lose the money, it's not a problem. It's not an issue. Like I was watching an interview, and this guy said he lost $250,000 to this financial guru, and he was like, when I seen him and he wasn't doing the interview, he had a nice watch, he had a chain, and he was smiling. And he's like, oh, I lost 250,000. You could tell he got that money back, and it wasn't a problem because it's part of the game. There's nobody that's successful that they didn't take no big loss or nothing big in life. There's nobody. So he obviously done some type of work within where he's on that current of flow. So he don't care. Like even though he did care and it probably got to him, he in his mind, he knew he could make it again. A lot of you niggas, if you got something and you didn't work for it or you didn't do the inner work, you will think that you'll have a scarcity mindset, like, oh, I lost it, I can't get it again. But once you really truly do the work, you know you can get it again. So it doesn't affect you as much. This is why the people who always remember this, the people who lose the most money have the most money. If you don't even got $10,000 to your name, how can you lose $1 million? How can a corporation be $8 million in debt, or a business be $8 million in debt? They have to have at least made over $8 million. In most cases, they had to be $8 million in debt. They have to got to a point where the bank says, we trust you to give you $8 million. In order for a bank to trust you to give you $8 million, you have to be able to prove to the bank you can make more than that. So at one point they made more, and then they are $8 million in debt, but I bet you they get out of that. I bet you they have a way to pay that shit off, and it's not a problem. But it's only the person who's broke as fuck, and they want to play it safe. I have my money in a savings account. I'm gonna do, but by the time you know it, you just spend your whole life savings. You didn't take no risk. That's why you got to take risk in life. Even when it comes to money, you got to take risks. You can't get rich and successful with not taking no risks. And it doesn't have to be just with money, just risk in general, like giving up your desire to want to have fun on the weekend. That's a risk. That's a sacrifice. He's like, I'm 5 days into my fast using that life app you recommended. That's what's up. Yeah, I haven't recommended that in a minute. I'm surprised you guys still are onto that. Yeah, that's the best app. You can create a fasting group in that app. I'm gonna create a fasting group. I always keep saying I'm gonna create a fasting group. I need to create one. Yeah, that's a good app to use. If any of you guys are going on a fast, go on that app. When you go on that fast, when you go on that app and you start your fast, it will tell you each day what's happening in your body. So on the whenever your body starts going into ketosis or autophagy state, it will tell you your body is just reached autophagy, and that's usually around like the first day it will reach that, and it'll tell you, and then it'll tell you other things. If you get to like a certain day, it'll say you're burning fat at an accelerated rate because your body goes through certain stages when you go on these fasts, and it'll tell you that why you're going on it. That's the best app to use, a life app, if you want to record your fast. And you could actually take a picture. Like if you do a 7 days, you could take a picture and you can share it on Instagram or Facebook, or share it on social media to show like, oh, I just completed this fast for 7 days or however many days. And you can it keeps a log of all your fasts and what date you did and when you did it. So it's a pretty good app. That's the best app that I know for fasting. Yeah. I think I got all the comments. Just want to think and see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I should have dropped the link. Damn. I'm gonna drop the link real quick if any of you guys want to come up in here and before I leave. I should have dropped the link earlier, but yeah, it's the link. Yeah, I'm doing 21 days. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Good shit right there. Yeah, keep it up. Yeah, that's good. That was the last longest fast I did was 22 days. It was the last longest fast I did. Yeah, 21 days is that's a good number. After 21 days, that's usually what they usually do. And when you go to these fasting retreats, breatharian retreats, they'll usually have a 21-day retreat. They have a 9-day and a 21-day. So 21 days is a good day to really rejuvenate your whole body. It's really, but don't worry about the days per se. The days will come. Just worry about you getting these fasts in. If you do 5 days and you can't go longer, that's perfect. Just get back on it ASAP and keep up the routine. Because doing 5 days every doing 5 days and one day off, 5 days, one day off is just as good as you just doing 21. Don't feel stressed out as, oh, I got to do 21 and I can't do it. It's too much. Even if you're doing 3 days, one day, or 2 days, you're doing it consistently. So it's compounding, it's building. So that's all that matters, really. Don't feel like you got to do 21. If you can get to that, then obviously that's better. But I wouldn't even want to say it's better. It's actually they're both the same because your body's cleansing. We're fasting to cleanse the body. We're not fasting just so we can get a fucking number. So the more fast you do, the more your body's cleansing. But obviously, when you go past like 6, 4, 5 days, I think like 3 days, you go into, I forgot what they call it. They call it full ketosis, where it's like you're in a full ketosis state, so your body's at the peak of its healing. So after 3 days is when you're at the peak of what they call autophagy, which is cellular regeneration. So your body peaks healing at after 3 days. So after 3 days, that's when you get massive healing. Damn, that shit's annoying. So just worry about getting after 3 days, and even then, less than that, that's still good. I don't like to sit there and put numbers because I don't want people to be like, oh, I only did one day. No, that one day is still good. 2 days is still good. You just build up to that. Keep going. Because you got people out here who do intermittent fasting, which is 16 hours a day. That ain't shit, in my opinion, but it's still good. But if you're doing 1 day or 2 day fasting, that's way better. And they say that intermittent fasting is actually beneficial, which is 16 hours a day. So imagine if you're doing 2 days and you take a break, or you're doing 1 day, you take a break, 3 days, you take a break. So all that really matters. There's a link if anybody wants to join. I think I touched on everything I want to speak on today. Yeah. And I just uploaded the video of, you guys seen the what they're doing with the food. Remember I told you guys how they're gonna start poisoning the food? I looked up, they because the video I posted, it said they're gonna be adding folic acid to the tortillas. In California, they're gonna pass a bill where it's gonna be mandatory to add folic acid to all corn tortillas. And the reason they're doing this is because they say it helps with the childbirth. It helps the baby in the womb, and it helps with certain like prenatal deficiencies and all this dumbass shit. That's bullshit, because there was this one female I read in the comments. She said during 3 of her pregnancies, she was taking folic acid as per the doctor's fucking advice. And she said that 2 out of her 3 children had autism from taking folic acid. So and she was actually taking it as the doctor's request. So this is what I'm telling you. They're poisoning the food, and then they have these stupid fucking dumbass people out here, and these news people and these fake ass doctors and shit trying to promote it like it's healthy. And they're all about to burn in hell, and they're gonna have a lot that they're gonna have to answer to for even promoting this shit. But they're poisoning the food, and I'm telling you niggas, like, anything that the government, because you got people out here who can't even afford food. You got people out here, you got food, the inflation of food going up. People can't afford food. And their biggest concern is adding a fucking ingredient, a folic acid to corn. Like, that doesn't make sense. Out of all the problems we got going on, specifically with food, these motherfuckers are adding folic acid. Like, that's not even necessary right now. The fuck, like, that's weird. So this makes me realize that it's an attack. Anybody who believes it, and people are waking up, because when I went every single comment section I went on for these articles, I went on about 3 of these articles. Every comment section, even the bots were like, stop poisoning our food, leave the food alone. Everybody, there was nobody that was in agreement with this shit. So people are waking the fuck up when it comes to certain things, which I don't even know how they're even able to even do this. Like, because they said it's a bill. So I don't know if I don't give a fuck about the government. So I don't know if people vote this shit in, or if they're going to just put it up there. Because if people have to vote for this shit, ain't nobody going to vote for that shit. But like I said, they're gonna keep doing this, and because they're trying to depopulate the people. And it's funny how they do it to corn tortillas, which mainly Mexicans. And in the article, it says Latino women have a lower, they get folic. Anytime they want to attack a certain race, they always say that race of people is susceptible for having deficiencies from lack of whatever they're trying to put in the fucking food. So they're saying Latino women have lack of folic acid, which causes deficiencies. They know Mexicans be having these fucking babies like M&Ms. So that's one reason they attacking them. And they part of that demographic, part of like the black people. They don't fuck with black people and Latinos because they look at them as like the lower end of society. So they already got black people. And every time they want to push something on black people, they always say some shit like black women and black people are more susceptible and prone to diabetes or to this. And then they have you taking their medication, which affects black people more because based upon our genetics and their medication. So like, it's just another way to get rid of people. Anytime they say a certain race of people is acceptable for something, that's just a way they're trying to get people to take some type of ingredient. Like they want that race, they want to kill that race off. It's an attack on that race, whether it be Latino, black, whatever. They already have black people with a lot of shit. So now they get into Mexican people. And they know Mexican people eat corn tortilla more than any other race. And it's funny how they said the corn tortilla, and in the article, they talked about Latino. What does corn tortilla have to do with Mexican? Corn tortilla is a food. Yeah, Mexican people eat it, but if you're adding, this is why you could call out their bullshit. If you're adding something to a food and you're doing it for health, race should not even be part of it. The fact that they put Latino in the article shows you that they're trying to attack that specific demographic. Because what does a corn tortilla have to do with Latinos? Yeah, they eat eat it in their food, but food is food. Corn is corn. Everyone eats corn. Everyone can eat corn tortillas. An Indian can eat a corn tortilla. So why do they have to specifically put the word Latino? And Latino is not even a race; it's a political term. So it just shows you it's just like black and nigger. They showed you it's all bullshit. Telling you guys, man, this shit is crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end this video, guys. Let me see if somebody left a comment. Pharmaceutical industry is it's all bullshit. It's a depopulate. Like the pharmaceutical industry is meant to kill the people. That's it. It's meant to kill the people. It's nothing to do with helping people at all. It's a way that they can attack the people through just ways. And I'm gonna keep it at that because I don't want to. Yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end this video. This was a good live stream and peace. I'm out.